To you, it's good to be here again. It's the first working day of the week, Monday morning or afternoon already in Nigeria. Thank you very much, everybody, for keeping in touch and being a part of this. Just Kemi and Uyino. Thank you for joining on Instagram. Thank you very much, Baba Gift. I see you there on TikTok. I am your wealth creation enthusiast with a passion for helping people and organizations build their personal and corporate net worth through investing in the capital market and the money markets. The money market and the capital market is making a lot rich, but so many others are not aware. And you agree with me, Nigeria's population is we should be over 200 million people now, yet only a very minute catches up with you. But long and short is we are busy Nigerian professionals across the world building our net worth through these means, so that when we work for money, we eventually do not have to work for money to survive, because the money we've worked for, we have accumulated them in paper assets and investments such that they begin to work for us the later part of our years. Thank you very much, Maubi. I see you there. It's good to have you. Your caller already coming in. It's good to have you from the word go. Everybody who has come in, we are here again to take the questions and respond to all your inquiries. So let's go, guys. We had a fantastic week last week, and this week the market is still booming with specific stocks doing individual bull runs, and of course that way many other stocks are also triggered to make a little bit of moves here and there. Thank you very much. Hello, Maubi. Good afternoon.
Hello, Coach. Very good afternoon to you, and I'm very happy to be back in the house again today.
It's a pleasure to have you, Maubi. It's always good to have you here, and of course we will today as much as possible. We respond to
sure
as we can. So the floor is open for everybody. What news do you have for us over the weekend? What did you come across? Because for me, I use the weekend to do a lot of research personally on most stocks. Do you have any feedback for us in terms of news and updates?
Yeah, of course. There were lots of market activities over the weekend. And I think some of us might have seen these indicators playing out a little bit. Starting with tantalizers, we know that they are in the process of doing a very good, diversification in their business. And consequently, this morning, I believe already they are getting the maximum 10% at the moment. So the market is good, the market is bubbling. Opportunities are showing up, and we are all here to, lie in the wait and take advantage when we can.
Thank you very much for that update. Speaking about tantalizers, I read the reaffirmation of what I've always told us here, that they were going to diversify into entertainment, and particularly they've done one transaction where they bought an entertainment outfit wholly. So they are keeping to their initial plans as revealed to us after the new set of investors took over that business. We're yet to see the numbers to convince us whether or not it is too cheap or expensive for the price it is going for right now. To recap, for those of us who may not know the history of the stock price movement, tantalizers have been stagnated for so long, knowing fully well that I think the original founder of that business eventually passed on, and then it became some sort of a moribund establishment. But in the last 1 year, as at last year, a new set of investors took over the business, pumped in some money, about 2 billion or thereabouts. And one of the things they have announced is that beyond just being a food chain, a restaurant chain, they were going to diversify the business into some other sectors like entertainment and so on. And so in the course of the weekend, I saw and read that they have taken over a particular business that is already in the entertainment industry. So it's not like starting from the scratch. It will be by way of acquisitions, just like Access Bank has been doing in terms of acquiring big banks left, right, and center within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. So let's go on to quickly see what the top gainers are. And if you see tantalizers flying, then that's the reason. Another news has come in and then the stock is reacting. But I always tell us, relax yourselves and don't rush. If you did not have the stock before it starts jumping, relax yourself and get the numbers. Invest by the numbers, because that is what will save you whenever there is a market crash. So let's go on to see the top gainers and losers for the day. Top 10. All right. As usual, we proceed, and what do we have? Tantalizers is number 1. Maximum 10% gained. Currently 2 naira 53 kobo. Right? Followed by Bitter Glass, the wonder stock of 2025. As far as I'm concerned, it is looking more like Bitter Glass and Northern Nigerian Flour Mills, 2 of the greatest movers so far as far as 2025 is concerned. Bitter Glass currently 9.98% gained, 258 naira 50 kobo. Every time, as I'm mentioning this figure now, the person that comes to mind is Fortuno Genama. That's because that stock really did wonders. And the truth is, it doesn't happen all the time. So I think her instincts are very good at picking some stocks, right? Because she heard many other names, but she went ahead, and even though it looked expensive that time, she had a conviction to buy. The only sad tale in this story is that she eventually panic sold, and then the thing has jumped. So 258 naira 50 kobo from nowhere, from around 50, 60 naira per share. And I'm sure somebody else actually bought this Bitter Glass at that time. If you bought Bitter Glass, please indicate so we can have some bit of cheer, because I know that we can't continue to mourn the one that sold off. She has gone on to buy better things, and her portfolio is doing fantastic right now, I can tell you, as far as those stocks she has been picking after that mistake. But there is somebody we need to celebrate here who bought Bitter Glass. Please, if you did, indicate by typing your comment. We may want to bring you up. Number 3 on the top gainers list is Champion Breweries, 9.97% gain, 7 naira 50 kobo currently. And what do we have at number 4? Northern Nigerian Flour Mills, now 138 naira 85 kobo, gaining 9.97%. Now, this is what the parent flour mills did not do. And I said it that time when flour mills was around 40, 50 naira. I said this flour mills is a 100 naira, 150 naira stock. Imagine Northern Nigerian Flour Mills, which is not as big as the parent company, because Flour Mills also has a stake in Northern Nigerian Flour Mills, just as they do in Honeywell. And it's looking like that buyout may be very close, because both of them are now behaving the same. Honeywell Flour also jumping all the way to 19 naira, the same stock that hovered around 11, 12 for so long. By the way, we started picking it from 4 naira 90 kobo and so on. So currently 19 naira. People are really making money here. And this is why I say if you're not following me, you are losing money, because these things are looking so wonderful in the eyes as we speak. So Northern Nigerian Flour Mills, 131 naira 85 kobo. What Flour Mills, the parent company, could not achieve in terms of price movement until it was delisted. And shareholders were eventually paid about 86 naira per share, which looked good that time. But I knew that Flour Mills of Nigeria is actually a juggernaut conglomerate. Okay. Number 5 on the list is Multiverse, 9.94% gaining, and 8 naira 85 kobo. This one continues to go up and down. I know it touched 10 naira before it dropped again below 9, and now it's trying to come back. So something is really at least happening there. Eventually it may just zoom back to the 11 plus that it used to be. We watch to see. Number 6, Mark Nichols, 9.91%, 2 naira 33 kobo. Mutual Benefits Assurance, number 7, 9.57%, 1 naira 3 kobo. John Holt, number 8, 9.52%, 6 naira 90 kobo. And then Regal Insurance, number 9, Insurance, number 9, Insurance, number 9, 9.09%. And then away in the second line. So if you are used to rhymes in literature, then you'll understand that saying. that it's actually a perfect rhyme that used to work a lot of times because, and the history of that saying comes from the fact that in those days, after earnings season, what happens is summer is approaching. And so, what big investors and money what you call fund managers do is they try to start selling off most stocks in May because nothing much is going to happen till summer arrives, So they try, it's almost like a holiday period for the stock market because if you hold on to your stocks, they just keep dwindling, going sideways or even going downwards and just rigmaroling around until it's summer again and then activities start picking up based on the fact that half-year results will start coming out and then price actions here and there, quarterly and monthly dividend payments will be going on and so on. So the market experiences a bit of a lull between May and August. So what they normally say is sell in May and go away. But as it is unfolding before our very eyes in 2025, that is not the case because a lot is happening in the international market. For instance, occasioned by the ups and downs of the tariff war, the repercussions, and all manner of activities that has made the market so busy. And so nobody wants to sell in May and go away. Even in the Nigerian market, normally after dividend is paid out and all of those things are done, the next thing that happens is everybody just relaxes, nothing to look forward to. Maybe one or two stocks can just be running for specific reasons, but not a general market action. In any case, that's not the case. We're still seeing a lot of activities going on, maybe because of, apart from the earnings season that is just coming to an end, a whole lot of other corporate actions taking place, the bonus that is being given, and various other anticipations, including the buyout activities and announcement about each company's progresses in terms of acquisitions here and there, all manner of deals here and there. Even Aradel has a deal that they made provision for about $21 million or so, and so on. So that's why you need a community like this to keep you going and not just run away and leave your investment and miss out on opportunities. F4 says, hello coach, please, I have MRS shares. I heard they are exiting the NGX. What should I do? Well, they are exiting the NGX, but it is not a total buyout plan. What MRS is trying to do is to go and delist from the NGX to get listed on the NASD. That's another exchange, a smaller exchange, but a lot of companies are also there. In fact, it's from that exchange that Aradel got listed in the NGX. So MRS wants to go back and stay there on NASD, and they won't be the first. The former Mobile Petroleum Marketing, which you now know as Double One, because they've changed their name. It's no longer Mobile, it's now Double One. So Mobile also delisted from the NGX and went to NASD. Okitipupa Oil Palm did the same thing and are in NASD, and so on and so forth. So everyone else who owns the stocks and may not be interested in selling, you can still hold your stocks, you still keep getting your dividends, and the stock can just keep growing on NASD. All right. So all you need to do if you do not have a NASD account is start troubling your stockbroker to open a NASD account for you. All right. So that's it. No panicking. There's no fear. It's not a forceful buyout, but they actually made an offer for retail investors who want to sell to submit so they can pay. How much it is, I can't remember, but my personal advice would be there's no need selling. Kiddies Wayne Lagos says QTix is moving gradually we'll get there. I think it's close to 2.70 something. Today I'm able to access my system, so we're going to go back there soon. Dangote Sugar 41 TM Kiddies World, really? Are you kidding me? I saw it at 38 this morning. Okay, Akonji says I bought Beta Glass at 49, but not much. Oh my God, Akonji Akinwumi, what a hit! Can I tell you this? Even if you didn't buy much, I can assure you that you actually did a lot. It looked like there was nothing really going on with that stock, really. So I must congratulate you, Akobi, 49 naira per share, and now it's 230 something. So you are close to making 200 naira per share gain. My goodness, where else could you have made such a money without even stressing yourself whatsoever? Right? Great to be here again today. Hope to learn more. That's from Real Jerry. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate your presence and your knack for knowledge gathering. You see, that's the mentality and the quality of the rich. The rich, very humble, very teachable. They forget how high they've gone in life, whatever they've attained. When they find what they want, they humble themselves to learn. And you know what? It adds to the knowledge bank they already have. That's one quality of the rich that I want all of us to learn. That's why I also try to learn from everybody, because truly speaking, you are only good in your field. There are so many other fields you are a novice. So we do not even discourage anybody who comes to say, I am a newbie here, I'm a novice here, I don't know Jack. We understand. Nobody knew nothing when they were born. Okay, so you channel your energy to doing something else and you are a master in that thing. Doesn't mean you are a failure in some other thing because you didn't put your energy there. And the more we know, the better we become and the more relaxed life is. Okay, now I know, for instance, I can decide to spend so much money at a go and I know how to get it back through the market. Just come back, rearrange my portfolio towards, just restructure my portfolio towards capital gains, and whatever I've spent, I can just recover. So a lot of you will start by meeting me now, you will start being able to fund those your vacation trips, because you know the naira has suffered serious devaluation, but then, and that has restricted a whole lot of people from traveling abroad. Okay, but now you know how to get money working for you. At times, if your portfolio is structured towards just dividends alone, you may, in case you want to replace expenses, heavy sudden expenses made, you may have to tilt and maneuver some of those stocks into stocks that will give you quick dividend, capital gains. So when it grows back up in quantum, in terms of the size of the portfolio, you can now restructure again back into your preferred dividend strategy. All right. Official Mabo says, "Good morning, coach. Can we still buy more RRL?" Absolutely. I'm just waiting for another windfall from anywhere else, and I'm going in on RRL because it's one stock that has given us a lot of opportunities to take position. So just like Charms, people of God, Charms gave us opportunity and we saw it as fear. All sorts of fears. We kept fearing to the extent that even when we heard about what you call rights issue, we're still scared. 170, that would be a dilution. Well, you have to think about the bigger picture, which is that the share capital needs to be increased, and that's why that rights issue is. If they didn't need the rights issue, they won't do it. Okay? So they don't want to continue to operate with a tiny share capital, because that's also dangerous for the business, right? So take full advantage, because as many charms as you buy now, you will be getting an equivalent of whatever is due you based on the ratio for rights issue at a discount, 1 naira 70 kobo. So imagine charms has stayed on and held on at 2 naira 30 kobo. In fact, it's sold higher than 2 naira 30 kobo. We'll get back there and see what's happening with these stocks. But the fact is, now Arandel is giving us that chance, and a lot of times people will just be looking away. It's always there, it's always cheap, under 500, and then one day it will take off, boom. Then we'll start hearing, is it safe to buy charms now? Arandel now. So this question is perfect. No concerns whatsoever. Go ahead and buy your Arandel. Please, how can I see that my stock is growing? In Komabi. What platform do you use? Just let us know, okay? Oh, somebody's wishing that QTix comes down. Omoni Bryce says it should come down to 250 as to take position too. It's all right. Anything can happen. But you know, one thing about the stock market, sometimes your prayer is somebody else's. It's like a problem to somebody else. While you are praying for a stock to come down, some people have ordered and are wishing that it goes up. All right. So we are careful how we talk about these things also, so that people don't get offended thinking we are praying against their downfall. No, we are not praying against your downfall. Everybody wants to be in the boss early enough and at a good price so they can enjoy the ride with you. So it's just a matter of patience. The boss will eventually take off and locate its destination. Right, good day to you also. Success Mind says, hi, Luchik Naturals, thank you very much. I bought, but not plenty. I see. Tantalizers on full beat, 37 million beats. Okay. All right, let's keep power tapping our screens, keep the screens busy. That way you're bringing more people. And then if you are not following me, you are losing money. I've told you several times. Imagine just coming into my live session like this. That time I was talking, oh, this beta glass is very, very good, very valuable, 60 some, 50, 55 naira, 54 naira or so. It got to 60 naira. If you bought, I bet you that stock price is now 200 and something naira per share. And then just on the 7th of May, that was when Northern Nigerian flour mills got to 90 naira. And I made a post. I made a post on my, so if you are not following me on Twitter, you're not following me on Instagram, then you are losing, because right here on TikTok, it's only videos I post and maybe live session. So when I post some of those comments, it doesn't appear here. You have lost. I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and I made a post 7th of May. I remember clearly that, look at this Northern Nigerian flour mills, that I was happy for my followers who bought Northern Nigerian flour mills with me at 37 naira, 39 naira or so, and that it has hit 90 naira, 7th of May. That's about 12 days ago or thereabouts, just 12 days ago. And what do we have here? 131 naira already. So if somebody had bought even at 90 naira per share just 12 days ago, that's 41 naira gain per share. That means if the person just believed me so much and pumped in 90 million to buy 1 million shares, that 90 million naira now is worth 131 million naira, leaving the person with about 41 million naira profit. My God, what other business can you do sleeping with both eyes closed to give you such returns? By the way, let me also caution us that the stock market is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Like I always say, it is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but sometimes it surprises us with quick returns. Okay, coach, been trying to buy down sugar since Friday at 37, now 40. What should I do? What you would do is buy some at 40, place some beats at 48. That's the way to go, and have no regrets if it drops below 40 again, because it continues to do this up and down, up and down. Otherwise, you just wait and pray that it drops again below 40 between now and Friday, which makes the wait also very tedious. Okay, Lochi, that's it. Good day, coach. Yemisi, very good afternoon to you. Soji Jolaya says, is tip still a good buy? Well, tip will always be a good buy. The point now before us is, how do we get in? So let me go to the screen and let's see what's going on in the markets so we can be able to take position. Please, if you have a question about what to buy, pay attention, because I won't be repeating those things over and over anymore, to save us time to be able to accommodate as many questions as possible. Austin Ebube says, please, coach, is it advisable to still keep buying UPDC if you can still keep buying under 3? I've told you it's under 3, under 3, under 3, but this morning I saw it above 3, though somebody also bought at 3. I think 3 and under is the best entry price now for UPDC, because there seems to always be sufficient supplies every time it tries to cross above 3. So those supplies eventually pushes the price back down. But let's see what the situation is right now with a stock like TIP, as mentioned earlier. All right, so let's go there. Okay, off to TIP. see, T is currently 612, shedding the weight seriously, right? 6 naira 12 kobo, down from the 6 naira 80 kobo it closed last Friday. Remember, it got to 7 plus, and then I was telling people, don't rush, relax, you've waited enough, allow this thing. The stock market never moves on a straight line. This is the only place where you can be told to hold on for a stock that is jumping, and there is no fear. You know why? You are banking on the 27 years experience I have in this market, and I can advise you. And if you can listen, then you are saved a lot of money, because a lot of people would have been carried away. They were waiting at 5, it didn't drop, it jumped to 6, and then it jumped to 7. Most people would have jumped in at 7, and now it is retracing. Now, if you want to buy now, feel free to buy, but we're still waiting to see when it bottoms out. 2.4 million shares on offer, only 2,000 shares bidded for, and it is at 612, which should be the worst price for the day. Okay, so as we speak right now, tip is still a wait and see. As a matter of fact, you stay patient. You don't be surprised if you will still see tip under 6 naira. And then if it does, then at that point you can start building up little by little. But for now, it's a wait and watch for me. Okay. A lot of the comments are coming in thick and fast. Let me quickly rush. What do you think about Bitter Glass, please? Lucky. What I think about Bitter Glass is that it has gone forever. There's no point joining Bitter Glass now at 200 and something naira per share. Even if it will get to 300, you will. If you check the percentage, it will turn something else. You will see that it doesn't make any sense anymore. In fact, Bitter Glass will eventually start losing. Coach, is 100K good investment on RDL? 100,000 naira or 100,000 shares? Baba Gift, please clarify. Good afternoon, Coach. What about Nemet? Nafisa, the fact is, I kept talking for Nemet, currently 375. In fact, today it sold at 399. 399. Nobody should make the mistake of buying it at that price. Wait and watch where it settles. It used to be very close to 290 and so on. It would go, it could get to 3 and then come down. But it's now looking like Nemet is trying to establish what you call a support level. Support level is that price where the stock refuses to go below, you know, foundation and support. It's more like decking. Every time you hear support, just remember the word decking of a story building, right? That decking now is where the stock will refuse to drop below. So currently it's trying to establish that support above 3. Now when it establishes the support above 3, even if it's at 370, it can still dip to 350, 320, but the more it continues to resist being below 3, you know that a strong support above 3 has been established. At that point, you are hardly going to see to buy. But if you are lucky while it's still trying to establish that support level above 3, then there will come a time when somebody can just flush in a whole lot of supply and clear it down to below 3. But in those instances, it recovers very fast because a solid attempt is being made to create a support above 3. So some people can still be lucky to find it to buy just below 3. But anything now around 3, 310 and below is fine, is safe. It will hardly, unless there's a serious market crash that suddenly comes up and everything begins to crumble, at that point, it will now easily go below 3. So that's the position with Nemet, and it's actually a good buy from, like I said, where I'm thinking 310, 3, 310, 3. Should it ever drop below, drop to 310? You take position, long-term position, by the way, because their full year 2024 result was not fantastic, and that's what has stagnated them. Then they were, moving around 2 naira plus and so on and so forth. But a fresh optimism is arising, and that's not unconnected with the progress a stock like May and Baker is doing right now. Can you imagine May and Baker suddenly is 13? May and Baker that sleeps around 7 and 5 for so long, frustrating long-term holders. Well, suddenly it woke up, and where do we have it? 13 naira per share. And then that also reminds me of another stock that is doing very well. Suddenly, Ikeja Hotel touched 15 this morning. I don't know where it is right now. We'll still take a look, but most of these stocks were well under 10 when we kept talking about it and trying to take position and so on. As for Ikeja Hotel, it was around 7 naira per share. But let's see what's happening with other stocks. Okay, so Nemet currently has 1.6 million bids, so the bids are still more than the offers. Offer is 783,000 shares. All right. Okay. So we go on to the beginning of the charts as we pay close attention. For those of you who are interested in ABC Transport, it's dropping now from 295 to 266. I said it that time, when the news clears and nothing else is going on, the stock price will come down. That news that drove it up is usually temporary, but when it begins to materialize into numbers, then the stock price has no other option but to keep sailing higher. Right? So we go on. We're seeing African Prudential gaining today from 16 naira 45 kobo to 17 naira per share. RRL 467 naira from 503. Okay. How many of you remember? Hello, Malby, are you there? Malby is lost. We'll get him back. But you know what? Beja Paints dropped as low as 17.18, currently 25. That time I kept mentioning Beja Paint is good, see it at 19 buy, see it at 18 buy.
Yeah, coach, I'm right here.
Thank you very much. Do you remember Beja Paint? Can you remember what we were discussing both on this?
Yes, actually, I did.
Please refresh our memory so it doesn't.
Yeah, very much very much at a point. I believe Better Paint was around 19 naira 45 kobo, at least when I started, paying attention to it. And in the market right now, I believe is above 25 naira. And that's another stock that is quietly and silently, growing under the radar.
Now, I want to teach our people sometimes when the stock is mentioned, it looks so laid back, it looks so ordinary. In fact, it looks like there's no promise around it. But you know what? The stock eventually picks up and can be seen. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 6 naira gain already. That's approaching 40% from what it was. In fact, it dropped to 18 at some point. And then when that major market crash that rippled down from the international market touched the Nigerian market on that particular Tuesday, I won't forget, it was a Tuesday, most of the Nigerian stocks crashed for a moment. It was the next day they started trying to recover. This same Beja Paint touched 17. Now look at that. 25 naira 30 kobo per share. The bitter glass is at 257 naira per share. Bua Cement, I saw some activity this morning and I'm seeing 373,000 shares traded. That's 29 million. So people are still staking money in Bua Cement. Currently, the offers are, the bid is 304,000. It doesn't normally grow that much. It's always around 100,000 or less, and then they'll clear it out to go into full offer. But as we speak, it's at 304,000 bids versus 1.5 million offers. That's for Boa Cement. And then Cadbury. Now, if you want to buy a stock and you haven't seen what to buy, and you're looking at taking a long-term position, buy Cadbury. 37 naira per share currently is not a bad price, though the lowest offer is 38.40, but somebody has been sold to at 37 naira 65 kobo. In fact, the highest bid now is 37.70, and they've not sold to that person. So that 37 mark is a perfect entry for Cadbury at the moment. Mind you, it's a long-term position you are taking. Okay, so that's one stock you can buy. We go on to. I need to take a good look at CAP. CAP has been a very stubborn stock. In fact, CAP is more like a defensive stock. If you are scared of losing your capital or watching your capital dwindle over time before recovery, then CAP is your best bet. 52 weeks low is 30 naira 90 kobo, and 52 weeks high is 47.75. So CAP, I will really take a look at it to know what the financial status is in terms of performance because it is one stock I need to pay attention to. It used to be a notoriously expensive stock, and I'll keep wondering what is it that they do? Isn't it paint? But we'll find out. All right, to see whether it is another bitter glass. It used to behave like bitter glass, just stagnates in one place and never goes down no matter what's happening. And today, bitter glass has taken off. So I really need to pay attention and see exactly what the current status is with CAP. Okay, Caverton currently losing 420 to 415 at the moment. Then we also have Champion Breweries really flying. 5.4 million shares traded already, over 40 million naira involved. And it has moved from 6 naira 82 kobo to 7 naira 50 kobo. So that's a good one for Champion Breweries. For those who are in the brewery sector. In fact, Champion is on full bid. I do not really cover brewery sectors enough, so I always don't. I'm always lagging behind in terms of information gathering and sharing. Then we have our Chams. Chams currently at 2 naira 25 kobo. It's dropped from the 2 naira 29 kobo by 4 kobo only. So Chams continues to offer opportunities for anybody who is interested for as long as it is. But I think Chams, from what I explained to you about support, Chams has successfully established a support level above 2 naira. So that will mean that it's going to be difficult for Chams to sell below 2 naira anytime soon, all things being equal. And in fact, Chams will now try and see how it can keep climbing. You know, QTix was in a situation like that, and talking about support and resistance. Resistance is when a stock is trying to shoot above a particular range and it continues to be pushed back. You know, it happens a lot. Like now, TIP pushed above 5, touched 6, pushed above 7, but it was rejected. And so there's a serious resistance around that 7 range. It will take a lot of effort and time, a huge lot of momentum and activities to drive TIP above 7 and for it to stay above that 7. You know, so that's the technical details of difference between support and resistance. A stock price trying to shoot up, but it's being resisted continually at a particular place. I remember if you have studied the price action of a stock like QTix, you will understand what I'm saying. QTix tried to push above 50, could not. It went to 70, came to 50, 2 naira 50 kobo, then it touched 2 naira 70 kobo early on, and then dropped to 250 and dropped below 250. So it got rejected at the 270 and 250 range and stayed for long around 2 naira 30 kobo. But what do we have now? It seems to have laid down the foundation and gathered momentum enough to push above 250. Let's see what's happening with QTix, for instance. And there we go. QTix having closed at 2 naira 60 kobo on Friday, currently is at relax yourself, focus on what you want. Once you pick your target, enter when it is still trying to look like nothing is going on. That's the safest entry. So I want to, at this point, congratulate everybody who bought QTix around 230. That was the time when we were also talking about minors buying stocks for our underage children, who are not up to 18. So we're really discussing minors, and I mentioned that particular stock also, 230. So there are some people who have bought. If you bought QTix at 230, just type QTix. I want to see, and if possible, bring you up. But then we have a caller who has been standing by. Osaze has been very patient. Let's hear from Osaze.
Hello, Coach. Good afternoon. I think it's afternoon now. How you doing today? How was your weekend?
Great. Before we continue, I want to congratulate all of these people who have just indicated that they voted at 230. Really want to hear us. Gerard, Adel, Tyson J, Hussein Hendricks, Fortuno Genama, She seems to know when to key in and just stay patient for the rest. Uncle Willie also bought QTX, of course, and I'm seeing my she lacks suffice. Oh, this Ebele also bought QTX 230. Fantastic. Now I got my people. We're getting it. Step by step, we're getting it. Don't be moved by what's happening. While you were buying QTX at 230, stuff like tip was jumping, and your mind would have been telling you, oh, I have tip, and so on and so forth. Don't worry, that's the way it works. Hello, sir. Please, do you have up to 1,000 followers?
No, I don't have up to 1,000 yet.
All right, we'll go right quick. What's your name and where you're streaming from?
Okay, my name is Osaze. I'm streaming from Abuja,
So I say from
one of
Abuja,
the
thank you very
biggest
much.
ones,
We
right?
appreciate your presence.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, so I have a couple of questions and comments I just wanted to share with you.
Go
The
ahead.
first one is Aradel. Yeah, Aradel is it's a good stock, but I don't. One of my fears is the fact that these deals that Trump is pushing now. I heard Iran is trying to beg Trump for a deal now, and Trump is someone that loves low oil prices. So would that affect the stock of Aradel, considering that they are a petroleum company? Would it affect the stocks short term or long term? What do you think about that? My second one is I don't know if you saw the news. I saw it on People's Gazette this morning on Fidelity Bank, a Supreme Court judgment against them for 255 or 225 billion naira. That's a lot of money. I don't, if they get to pay, what's the looking for Fidelity Bank? What's the projection like? Because I saw it on People's Gazette. I'm just reading it right before you came in. So I don't know how that will affect the stock price going forward. I think that's then for bonds. Sukuk, are you currently playing Sukuk bonds? Or do you advise us to do it? The Sukuk bond that DMO just issued, I think last week or something like that.
Okay, we
Then
spoke
the, okay,
extensively about Sukuk bond last week, and I gave very fantastic illustrations about it. I've forgotten the date now, maybe 3 days ago
okay,
from it's on my
okay. I was
YouTube.
not here.
You could just check through the YouTube channel there for the third to the last video um,
Okay,
on that. So it is very much advisable. And I also shared in that video that the trend of bond rates is going to flow the way I anticipated. It's dropping. Bond rates are dropping right now. I participated in the sukuk before the last, and the rate then was 25%. Now it's
wow,
19.75%. So whatever you are able to lock in long term, good for you. In fact, mine was 15-year bond. This is 7-year bond. So eventually, the bond market will slowly become unattractive because of the low rates and the short tenor. So if you have money that you can lay aside for 7 years just to keep bringing in extra income every 6 months for you, go ahead with the Sukuk bond, calculate your interest at 19.75% per annum, or expect half of it every 6 months because they won't keep you waiting for one full year before paying you interest. So that way you can now earn some free money if you like to keep throwing back into the market every 6 months, kind of compounding for the next 7 years, while at the end of the tenor, your original capital return to you.
okay, makes sense. That one was solve school fees
The
wahala.
case with the court case with Fidelity Bank we read about, court processes can take a long time, and whatever judgment it is can be appealed. As far as that judgment is not coming from the Supreme Court, the legal battle will continue. By the way, even after it continues to the Supreme Court and judgment is still given against the judge, they will eventually seek for settlement. However, it is, I don't think it is enough to liquidate the bank. Remember, the banks have already increased their share capital. Besides, there is also a structured payment of such judgment to the beneficiaries. So it will not just come overnight and crumble the bank. But you know what? The public, the investing public might react negatively to it. We now use their wisdom to see any negative, irrational reaction towards the stock price as an opportunity to very good stocks at big discounts. Okay. Then for Arabia, I'd like you to know that Canada is so unique. This is why I love that stuff. As long as it's not a COVID or COVIDish situation where oil is not needed anywhere in the world, right? Then you should not worry. It is that situation in COVID that made every company suffer, especially in the oil industry, because there's nowhere it was being used. But you know what? Whatever Trump does in the international market, Aradel does not depend on the international market alone. Number one, they have a local market here. They don't import their own crude. That's very crucial. Aradel prospects for oil. Aradel also has a modular refinery, I think in River State. 10,000 barrels per day refinery that they have also tried to expand the capacity. So, who it will really affect is those who are importing crude oil or the government who depends on crude oil export to fund their budgets. For instance, if the 2025 budget was benchmarked at $85 per barrel crude, and crude oil price now collapses to $65 per barrel, that's a huge shortfall on the government and the budget. So that's enough because anticipated income or revenue for the country is not realizable. At that point, the government is in trouble. Alabama does not import. Arabelle has their own oil that they prospect and refines. The only place where it will affect is for any oil that they normally export at international price. So they could do well to also have sufficient oil reserve. If they see that the going price at that point is too low, they can do a whole lot of things with their oil.
Okay.
At
Okay.
that
Makes
point,
sense.
you can say instead of exporting crude at $65 per barrel, we would rather refine and make more money from the byproduct. Whenever the oil market rebounds again, then whatever we have put as stockpile of reserve, we shoot out to the international market to make money. Secondly, Annabelle is not just dependent on crude oil alone. It also has a gas business right now. That's the acquisition of oil facility that they did with Renaissance. So if you know all these details, you won't worry the worries others may worry about. Is that okay, sir?
Yeah, that makes sense. So, coach, the last one is if you had a basket of three stocks you wanted to advise me to pick, what would it be?
That's not enough information for me. What do
Doesn't
you
know.
question
It's
back to
just
me?
not long term, just short term gains now, maybe 1 month or something.
Well, I don't do such projections
Okay.
or predictions because the market will always have a mind of its own. That's why
Okay.
predicting the market, timing the market can be very, very devastating, especially if you carry funds that you need urgently as 1 month, 2 months from now. Why? There are a lot of activities here, a lot of going on that is completely out of our control. So it's better we don't fix ourselves with that difficulty when we can actually be easier. If it's
Okay.
money we need that quickly, you invest in mutual fund, program to collect it back. Okay. If it's money you need 1 month from now, and you find that every day is the best in terms of return as per interest, you fix it in treasury, you are sure the money is coming back to you. But you see the stock market, it can cut off half of that money within 1 month, and then when you need it, it's no longer there. Better you are planning long-term investing in the stock market. That's where you collect everything there is.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate.
All right.
Hello, Gerald. I guess you should have up to 1,000 followers now.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very well.
Unfortunately, I don't, sir.
Okay, your name and where you're streaming from.
Okay, so my name is Gerald, and I'm calling from Canada.
Thank you very much, Gerard.
Um,
Go ahead.
so I have one question and then one comment to make. So for charms, I bought charms even at 210, but I still want to accumulate more. So I'm wondering, I just wanted to get your opinion if I should hold on, maybe if the price is going to drop, or if I should go ahead and buy at the current price.
We're going back to Champs now. Let's see what's happening there. Champs 223 at the moment. If you're taking a long term position, I'm still seeing beats around 222, about 500,000 beats at 222. But this charm sometimes can be funny. Currently, still 14 million beats, 4 million above the 10 million on offer. I mean, 14 million beats versus 10 million, 10 million bids versus 40 million offers, meaning the bids are less than the offers. And yet the price is even stubbornly refusing to drop below 220. Hold on and check to see. There are out of the 10 million bids, 3 million of them are at 220 and above. That says a lot about how low it can drop. As far as today is concerned, charms may not sell below 220, but because you have some already, I would say exercise a bit of patience. Let us hope that, because now, if you buy now, even if you find at 220, which is going to be difficult, you have to sell to 3 million other subscriptions before they get to you, or bids before they get to you. So I'm just thinking you should wait a while because it still has a tendency of some level of volatility that is quite high. Tomorrow can come and there's no body bidding above 220, maybe 210 or 215. We can't tell. If you buy now, it means that you are averaging up, which is still not too bad, also depending on what volume. So maybe you should just put in a bid at 220 and see if it goes. If it doesn't, you stay patient. I don't think you should buy more than that at the moment, but it has the tendency to fly away from 230. So it's quite a dilemma to be faced with.
Okay, maybe let me wait and see and watch it till weekend. See whether I can get a deal for Friday.
If you have such level of patience, that's okay. We'll watch and see.
And then the second comment is, you know, well, it's also a lesson for all of us in the group.
Okay?
So when
Learn
coach
to
was
learn.
saying about be patient with tip, be patient with tip, don't chase the green candles. I was like, oh no, tip is going to go to 10 naira. No, let me just go in and get some at 7. I went in and get some at 7. Now tip is at 6 naira something. So let it be a lesson to all of us. And when someone who has that 27 years experience is speaking, please, so let's listen to coach. So, but I'm gonna wait and see the bottom, and then I will just average down on my cost as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's not a problem. First of all, you are buying a solid company that has great prospect. This is a typical value stock. And anybody who will be patient with this stock is going to do wonders. Now, whatever quantity you bought at 7 something, the way to do it is stay calm, composed, watch for the bottom. Should it drop below 6 from tomorrow, then you start averaging down. It's a fantastic level to average down from. 2 naira downwards. Fantastic. whatever you buy from that point drastically drops, depending on the volume also, drastically drops your average entry price from that 7 naira it is currently. So from there, you build on. Should it drop further, you say hallelujah, you buy more, right? That way you can find your way out of the hole. And then when it finally kicks off again and shoots, you won't need to now wait till it gets to 7 before you see profit, because by averaging down and getting down to 6 plus, whenever it shoots above 6, you're already in profit.
Okay, thank you very much. And for TIP being a value company, that I totally agree, because I have been watching TIP and then looking at analyst report on that TIP.
Yes.
Initially, they valued it at 4 naira something kobo as a fair value, and then later on revised it to 7 naira something. And then yesterday, being Sunday, when I checked, they revised it again as the fair value price of TIP at 9 naira plus. And I was like, this one that they changed the fair value price 3 times or more, this stock must be something else. So right now, they said it's undervalued.
It's catching the attention of analysts. Now, after they finish their analysis, the real deal that is happening is those who bought that stock at 4, they are going to start panicking, especially watching it get to 7, failing to sell, and now watching it drop almost to 5, currently 6, whatever, close to 6. So those sets of people will panic again. And that's how it happens. The panic must finish. It will take the boldest of the okay, and then those who now sold at 7. Okay, Neil and Prince Usiomon has been standing by. Let's go on with Usiomon. I think he's the first before Neil will come up next. Sorry, priority is on callers, so the discussion also helps to answer a lot more questions that listeners and participants may have. Go ahead, sir. Okay, while we are waiting for that connection to take place, J. Ace is asking a very intelligent question there. Given inflation at 30%, is investing it? I'm a bit concerned as I'm based abroad. Okay, foreign inflation rate. Let's see. Current inflation rate in Nigeria today is not actually 30%, sir. Its inflation is currently at 20. Its inflation is currently at 23.7%. Previously 24 plus, but currently 23%. That's by the way. You still have a point, even if it's 23%, the interest on that bond is 19.75%. So on the surface level, you would think, well, it's not worth it. But inflation is something that is being fought regularly and can only start coming down because we are actually in the highest era of inflation in Nigerian economic history. So we expect inflation to keep dropping. It dropped from 24 to 23 as we speak, actual. Now, the point is, going forward, inflation should be dropping. But that's not my point. My point is, what you do with the return is what matters. Consider the time value of money and remember that the structure of interest payment for the Sukuk bond is 6 months intervals, which means You are not waiting for the inflation to hit you for the full year before you receive part of what is should come at the end of the year. So you can now use half of the 19.75% that comes to you 6 months after investing to your advantage by throwing it in a faster money making machine like the stock market. And in that process, take advantage of the time value of money. In theory, you are being sent 19.75% annually as the annual interest rate. But in practice, you get half of it just 6 months into the 1 year. So what you would have achieved waiting for it for one full year before receiving half of or the whole of it can be compared to what you can achieve receiving half of it 6 months ahead. So if you put half of what you receive 6 months before the full year, that whole half must have done a whole lot to beat inflation flat before the second half drops for you. And then over the period of 7 years, which is the tenure of the bond, imagine what you would have achieved compounding every 6 months your annual interest. That's where the practical reality of the fact that it's wiser to do the bonds than just stay behind the cost of inflation. The truth is, like I said before, what you earn doesn't really matter. It is what you do with what you earn that will determine whether you are rich or poor later on. That's why I advise my followers, don't envy shell workers, mobile workers, and all these oil workers, or people in telecoms earning millions per month. What they do with that money is what matters. And unfortunately, I've been there before, I've worked in the industry. I can tell you, most of them, there is a lifestyle that you must live based on peer pressure. So, most of them buy brand new cars, just brand new cars. And because the salary is not enough to afford a brand new car, they pay over 5 year periods. That takes a chunk of their monthly salaries. That's where the problem is. Living to impress with nothing to show for yourself. So what you do with the returns from the sukuk bond is what should define your decision whether inflation being 30% is not a good idea to invest. I hope this makes it clear. Hello, sir.
Hello, Mr. Coach. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
Good afternoon. Very well, thank you. Do you
Good.
have a 1,000 followers?
No, it's not to 1,000 followers, please.
All right. Tell us your name and where you're streaming from, sir.
Yeah, my name is Prince Godwin Okoje. I'm streaming from the UK.
Thank you very much, Godwin. It's good to have you. Prince, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, it's good to see you again. And I think last time, I saw you, and I think last time I saw you, so they could not send me the code and all that to finish my registration at the end of the day. Now, if I have to invest in Nigeria, start investing in Nigeria right now, I know I need a stockbroker, you know. How can I get one, or how can I register without my Nigerian number if I don't have a Nigerian number? You know, how can I do it?
All right, Prince, very simple. Send me a DM on Instagram. Will you follow me on Instagram?
Yeah, I follow you on Instagram. Yeah.
Fantastic. Just send me a DM. I'll send you the link to open your account with Atlas Portfolios. With your UK address, UK utility bill, UK phone number, you can do all of these things and get your account open. And then the danger, which you have just avoided also with fintech apps that are not licensed brokers, is that you would have been paying commission twice.
Okay.
But with a registered broker of your choice, or the one I'll send to you, you will be paying once per transaction.
Wow,
These
that's
are hidden charges that It's not really hidden, but it's not explained by most people who bandy names of fintechs to people to invest in Nigerian stocks.
All right, I'll do that. I'll send you a DM so that maybe I'll send you a DM. I'll send you a
It's
DM. I appreciate, Coach. Thank you very much for your knowledge.
my pleasure.
Yeah.
Anytime.
All right,
All
bro.
right, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Okay, Neil, it's your turn. Female car architect success. Can I buy Mark Nichols? I have no idea what the situation is. It's difficult for me to advise. Hello, sir. Okay, we lost that connection with me. So let's go with Julian Rice. While he's connecting, says, what is your take on United Health, the declining of price? This thing buy more and I spoke about this on Friday and said, I think at the Friday call, before the market opened on Friday, was good to buy. But I haven't looked at what the situation is currently.
Hello,
Hello,
sir.
sir.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
And, sir,
Good afternoon, sir. My name is James. I'm calling from the UK.
thank you very much, James. Good to have you here
Yeah,
again.
yeah. So I have just two questions. My first one is like this. You know, with the previous weeks that have gone by, we've seen the U.S. president strike so many deals with different countries. I went to Saudi Arabia, and put up this with China and other countries like that. And there are even more deals that he intend, signing. I was privy to even follow one of these when he was in Saudi, so I could spot some CEOs of top companies like Nvidia, Citibank, and what have you in those
He was there.
meetings too. So
Even Aliko Dangote was there.
yeah, he was. So, my question is like this. I I can foresee a situation where some of these companies, if not all of them, are going to have a massive, rise in their stock value because of these deals that the U.S. President is currently, signing with these countries. Uh, yes. So my question is this then: what are your predictions as to what stocks we should look out for? I know for me personally, from the little I've done, I'm still a newbie here. I think Nvidia, I think Palantir, I think Citi, and there's this other one I can't remember it right now. My usual suspect. So I don't know if there's. I believe there will be a hidden gem somewhere. So I don't know. So that's my first question, and then my second question is, what's your take on Multitrex?
Monty what?
Multitrex. It's a Nigerian stock. Multitrex Foods.
Mon- Monty Twex. I don't know that. Is he on the NGX? Okay, looks like I can't hear him anymore, but let me.
It's Multitrex.
Monty Twex. I have
Yes.
no, I have no idea. Maybe I'll check them out later. First thing first, those deals Donald Trump went to strike with this country. The actual reality is that it will take time for it to reflect in the books of these companies while having an eye on that particular trade and what the returns could be. I think something more serious that could determine price swing is where we should not miss out before taking any decision to invest. Currently, The United States itself has suffered a degrading of its Moody's ranking. If you know Moody's, it's more like a rating agency, world-class rating agency that rates countries based on their ability to repay their debts and so on. It's all based on the economic performance of the country and how well they are suited to keeping their debt
Yeah.
obligations, their sovereign debts.
Okay.
That degradation took place on Friday, or I won't say degradation, it's they degraded the US from a higher ranking that they had. That's not a good sign for the US market. Therefore, first things first, I expect the market to tumble today. All those gains of last week and all the rejoicing about the gains, there's going to be some losses today, beginning from today. How well the market responds will now determine going forward what you want to do. That's what I think. Without losing sight of what is about to happen in the immediate term, still keep an eye on those deals
Yeah.
that were up, so that you don't follow those deals and buy what will eventually drop because of this particular incident. So a whole lot of things happen because of the trading year that determines price movements. So while your eyes are on the long-term returns or benefits of these transactions, these deals, keep an eye on actual market behavior. Then you can now take it. The most prominent among the names is always the NVIDIAs and so on. But basically, it is either AI related or semiconductor related, right? So you want to focus on those semiconductor companies and NVIDIA, the AI companies, because AI needs semiconductors.
Yeah.
And some of these things requires factories to be opened in the US. It's part
Yes.
of funding the establishment of factories in the US for some of these companies. So all of these things, take a good detailed look at these things and look for what will be favored going forward by current economic happenings. Basically, that's it.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, sir. I'll be on the
Thank you.
outlook.
All right. Okay, so we've got Neil back. We'll connect with Neil, but let me see some of those questions that may not have been responded to. Multitrex Integrated Foods PLC. Sheung has given us the update. Multitrex. How come I've not heard about the name before? Multitrex. Could it be something else that it was before it became the Multitrex that we are seeing today? I should think so. By the way, QTix is approaching 2 naira 79 kobo. Currently, QTix is at 279. Okay, trying to check to see what is multitrex really. Because not very points at multitrex. Okay, that's it. Multitrex. It's not being traded, sir. Please let's be safe. I don't know about this company. As you can see, it was 36 kobo, which is the last traded price, but it's currently not being traded, meaning it's either under technical suspension for whatever reason. Maybe for failure of filing their reports, please. Let's be guided and be careful so you don't go and throw your money somewhere else, somewhere and it gets lost completely. If the stock is not actively traded and giving me numbers that justifies the price to an extent, I'm not in. So that's your multitrex there, zero transactions. Now it's just like what's happening with Unity Bank. Let's find Unity Bank on the list now. That's it, Unity Bank. If you click to check for the bid and offer status, 00, suspended. So So that could be the case with multi-threads. Now, the problem with using apps is you will see multi-threads existing with a price on it, but you can't tell how long ago the stock has been traded. That's where the problem is. Even Unity Bank that we know is an existing bank is not being traded because of violation of the rules of the exchange, the listing rules. Okay? So you can be in error if you can't at least just check to see bid and offer status to know whether this stock is really being traded. So let's be safe, and by all means, as long as you are keeping your ears on the ground and listening very well, you won't be misled. What's the good entry for NASCON? Well, NASCON these days, between 52 and 54. Okay, coach, please, what do you think about FTN Cocoa and Japan Gold? Between the two, FTN Cocoa will make sense, only if you can be patient enough to pick FTN Cocoa at the bottom. FTN Cocoa rose to 270 something or so and is currently pulling back. Let's see where it is now, FTN Cocoa. One key reason why FTN Cocoa is a good prospect, currently it's still losing 2.45 kobo at the moment. One reason why FTN Cocoa should sell is because first, it's an international commodity. Second, the agri sector will continue to get more attention. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not following me, you are losing money. Okay, I'm getting feedback also from Akombi. Multi-Tracks, they produce food. Well, they've been producing food and not being traded on the stock exchange. Something is wrong. Oviero Anthony says it's not profitable because inflation is about 24%. Well, over to you to decide. Do you know what? Some people will say it is not. Let me give you an instance. That's talking about the FGM bond. Interest rate 19.75%. Some people will say it's not profitable because inflation is about 24%. The question now is the money you have, what are you going to do with it? A lot of times, people will spend the money and still be caught up with inflation and without any money left. So, but if you know your game plan and you use it well, you become the winner anytime. 10 million naira invested in that bond will fetch you 1.9 million every year. Half of that is 1.8 million, right? No, is about 900 and something thousand, almost 1 million, if I'm not mistaken, every 6 months. Throw that money into QTICs, charms, all of those stocks, and watch in 7 years. Every 6 months, you are throwing that money into TIP, all those stocks, and tell me how it is going to be defeated by inflation. That's the point. So a lot of times, it is not knowing what to do with the returns that puts us in trouble. Okay, let's have Neil. Hello, Neil.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your patience. We lost you when we tried connecting the last time. Tell us your name and where
Yes.
you're from.
Okay, my name is Desmond, and I'm calling from Benin.
Desmond from Benin. Thank you for joining. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, Coach, you will be talking about QTs, and I was looking at the chart, and I decided to compare the current price with the price we had some years back, like 2016 to 2020. And then I began to think, what is the relationship between the price or the rise of stock price and inflation? Take, for example, if we should have an economy that would not experience inflation for 10 years, would the price also increase as much as it would currently, or as much as it would increase as we have it in the various industries like QTIX, tips, and but the banking industry? Would it increase the same way, excluding economic crisis like maybe inflation and maybe any kind of earth disaster or disease outbreak like COVID-19? Would the price increase if there should be no inflation for 10 years? Would the price of stocks, price of companies increase more than it would increase as we have it now, or it will increase less than what we have currently?
Okay, I get your question. First of all, let's understand that there is no economy that inflation does not happen. In the best economies around the world, there is still inflation. The cost of a particular item in 1960 is not the same now. Now, for the purpose of your question, we will now assume that there is no inflation for the next 10 years. Will stock prices also not increase because there is no inflation? That's your question, right? And my
Yes.
answer is very straightforward. Inflation and the rate of inflation is not what determines the price movement of stocks in the stock market. What causes stock price to move is value creation. As long as the companies continue to create value and investors see this value being created, they will keep chasing that stock. And as long as more money keeps chasing a stock, the stock price will keep rising. So irrespective of inflationary trend of the economy, stock prices goes up and goes down. If there is no inflation and a company does poorly, below expectations of the market in terms of performance in creating value, the stock price will collapse despite the fact that inflation figures are zero, it remains stagnant. So it's all about value creation for stock prices to rise. Business is doing well, they are reporting fantastic numbers. Year over year, they're doing better than the previous year, the last 5 years and counting. Dividend is increasing over time. That stock price has no business being stagnated, even if inflation is stagnant. I hope this makes it clear, sir. Have I answered your question?
Yes, it makes sense now. It's all about value.
That's
Yes.
it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, before I take another question, let me see what's happening. We keep losing Malby left, right, and center, but we are determined. We'll get back here. Okay, Upoma says, I will put my money in the bank. I will borrow my money to the federal government instead of leaving it in the bank. That's it. As long as it is a better option than what you would have wanted to do, invest in the federal government bond. If you think inflation figures are lower than, higher than the interest accruable, and you have other things that you prefer to beat inflation for the purpose of beating inflation, you go ahead and deal accordingly. The most important thing is financial intelligence, which we are sharing. Your own financial acumen is deepening, and then you are making the best money decisions regarding your finances. That's our focus. So it's even good to even think about inflation versus what you get investing in bonds, because the idea is you're looking for the best options, and you are thinking smart already. Okay? So it's a good debate, very healthy one, and exercises our IQ. I'd rather borrow the government. Okay, I've mentioned that. Coach, is mutual funds not better at 22%? Well, now, that's another good question. And, all these questions helps us to understand these things better. Mutual funds, 22%. Sukuk bond, 19.75%. On the face value, mutual fund is better, right? But I'm going to tell you more things to have you think more. First off, how long is the mutual fund? Can I tell you that mutual funds returns is not constant? It fluctuates to start with. It can be 22% annualized in the first 2 or 3 months, then going forward, it drops to 19%. And there's nothing you can do about it, because if you go and read the documents for mutual funds, they will tell you that it is not fixed, because they invest in various assets that fluctuates in returns on investment. So that 22%, there is no guarantee that it will be the same for the full year. Second, that 22%, you don't know whether it is for 7 years. I hope you understand now. That's point one. There is stability for the FGN Sukuk bond. What they tell you is what you get for 7 years, no story. Even if future bonds drop to 10%, this your own stays fixed. Number two, mutual funds is actually managed by financial services institutions, right? Now, you are facing the risk of losing your money, because anything can happen to that institution. Whether it is a bank, whether it is anything, banks fail and go under. Stockbrokers and all these financial services companies go under. Every existing bank, there is a risk of losing your money because the bank went under. But when it comes to the federal government bond, it is completely risk-free. It is 100% guaranteed that your money will be paid back to you. It is backed by the full faith and credit of the federal government. If you know what that means, it means that no matter what is happening, they will give you your money as and when due. You can't get such a guarantee from mutual funds. So you stand the risk of losing your money should it be a period when that company that is running your mutual fund collapses. So the question now is, you are a retiree, you have 500 million to invest, and you are thinking you want to put it in mutual funds instead of federal government bonds, and you are faced with all those risks of losing that money because of 3% difference between, it's not even up to 3%, 22 minus 19.75 is 2 point something percent. Assume it's 3%. Would you want to risk 3%, difference of 3%, and throw in 500 million in mutual funds, or you want to be rest assured that 7 years from now, if you are still alive, even if you are 70 years old, that your 500 million can return to you because the tenure has expired, and you will earn that 19.75% non-stop for the next 7 years for your upkeep. Tell me which one you go for. This is how to think these things and not just compare on the surface. Because if you do that, you're almost doing the same as the layman out there. And that's why we have a community like this. I hope it is clear. This is practical investment. This is real life experience we are sharing here. All right? Is somebody getting something? If you are getting something, say yes, 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 yes. Kindly indicate, type, keep your screens busy. Let me see your yeses, because I don't know if I'm even talking to myself right now. These are things that, you know, when they talk about bond, people will go on comment section and start writing what they know. And it's all theory. We are talking practicals here. At 70, you can no longer go and work nothing. And all the gratuity and pension and everything you have, you throw it into mutual funds and it collapses because of 3% difference. No, it's not done. Somebody will say, what if the federal government fails? there is no history of default in bonds. And this is why we want you to be balanced in your investment life. As you grow your net worth, let there be a solid balance. At some point in your life, you start gravitating some of those monies into this kind of investment. Okay? The worst thing that can happen is for the country to divide. Some people are thinking, what if there is war? If there is war, every business has failed, isn't it? But you know what? War will finish. The warring parties will come back and decide whether they want to still coexist like we have in the history of this country, or want to go our separate ways like it was with the former USSR. In that case, if the country has to divide, even without a war, if the country has to divide, they will divide the assets and liabilities amongst themselves. So wherever you have invested your investment with the federal government bond, I mean, all liabilities and all assets will be taken on by the new government and will be sorted out. It's that simple. So there is no too much fear and concerns and worries. I hope it's clear now. Thank you very much. I see your yeses. I have my people. Thank you very much. Now I know I'm not talking to myself, and at least something has dropped for you, because sometimes you will find yourself debating somewhere where people are talking theory. Economics graduates, most of them, yes, theory, we are talking real life. Most people who talk all these things don't even know where to invest in mutual fund. It's still mutual fund. Some people don't even know. But that's where you see all kinds of comments. So it's up to you to decide. Hello. Hello, are you there? Looks like this caller is not ready. Okay. I'll take the time to respond to some of your questions now. Has any mutual funds failed? Obiajulu Emmanuel, thank you very much for that question. I have no idea. But what I know is that no FGN bond has ever failed. And we know that some houses have failed. So in other words, mutual funds have failed. Now, that's the answer to your question. Because the first company I invested in, when I started investing in stocks, was Savannah Bank. They also had mutual funds and all those things their investment arm was doing. Just like Oceanic Bank had investment arm. All those banks that crashed, they all failed. So mutual funds have actually failed. That's the truth. You get the point now? Is it too late to buy flour mills of Nigerian stocks? Wow, Ngosoya. Ngosoya, it looks like you heard that thing I was talking about, flour mills being the parent company of Northern Nigerian flour mills and Honeywell. Well, flour mills have been delisted. So you can't buy it again. It's now a private company. All minority shareholders that existed before the delisting have been paid off. Okay? Good morning, coach. What do you think about opening trading account with AfroInvest or any better option? Francis, the best option I can give you now is Atlas Portfolios. So send me a DM on Instagram. I'll forward the link to you. You start up from anywhere you are in the world. You go ahead and open your account. Thank you very much. Chiamaka says, coach, what about treasury bills? Treasury bills is similar to bonds, also a debt instrument issued by the federal government. The same guarantee you have with bonds is what you have with treasury bills. No history of default, backed by the full faith and credit of the federal government, always paid as at when due. So there's maximum security there. Beauty Fine Shop said, is it backed by NDIC? What's the question? Is it bonds being backed by NDIC or what? Let me get your point so I can be able to respond correctly. Coach, please talk about how to get FB. What's FB? Okay, we're having a very interesting and intellectual discussion here. Only that me, I believe in practical. So as the question is coming, I'm thinking of the practical realities to consider. Let's see. Okay. F Travel Blog says, good morning, coach. It's afternoon over here. Good afternoon to you. What do you think about opening trading account? Oh, I've responded to this. Thank you very much. I have my participants. If you are not following me, you are losing money. You see that? So let's go on to. Okay, Beautifying Shop says, I'll go for mutual funds still, just because my funds can be withdrawn anytime. First Bank won't fail. Definitely, First Bank won't fail from what we know. It's the oldest bank in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, over 100 years old. Finally, the decision is yours. Ours is to share information and knowledge. The final decision is yours because you are the CEO of your portfolio. So you can go ahead and it's all good. You know what you are doing. That's all. First of all, even the banks, and let me give you one secret, and they won't like me for this. The banks collect your money for mutual fund, collect your money for fixed deposit, and any other investment products that they sell to you to invest, and carry it and invest in bonds and invest in other things. Some of them are invested in the 25% yielding bonds. Then that's why they can be able to even give you for 22%. But as they've bought, for instance, bonds are now dropping. So very soon you won't see mutual funds at 22 anymore. It's not possible. That's why when people go to invest in all these Ponzi schemes, these guys, the whatever means, guys, you begin to wonder because there is an interest rate regime that is ruling the economy, and CBN is the umpire through the Monetary Policy Committee (MPC) that they every month or every quarter come out with new interest rate. So for somebody to promise you something bigger than the current monetary policy rate, MPR, there's a problem. You begin to think fast. Okay? So by all means, when you can decipher these things easily, you won't fall for scammers. So I really enjoy the intellectual exchange that we are having here. Honestly, that's what sharpens us. Say iron sharpeneth iron, and you can only get better. So when you are out where they're discussing finance and money, you can be able to engage in a robust discussion. Okay? All right, I'm trying hard to make sure I don't skip any of these. Coach, what was the inflation rate when you had 25% bond deal? I can't recall. I wasn't even keeping track of that. Coach, is 100K Naira a good investment on Aradel? Any money you put in any investment is good, sir. Feel free, please. Kizzy Empire says, is NNFM a keep or sell? Well, for me, it's been a keep since I bought at 39.40 or so. Why? Because I am expecting a buyout from the parent company eventually. Ngosoya says, sorry, I actually meant honey floor. Is it too late to invest in honey floor? Honey floor. It's looking like it's too late because it's very expensive right now. 18 Naira or so. And we were looking at this thing for so long at around 11, 12. 18 Naira, 20 kobo per share, currently honey well floor. Yeah. So I would rather advise, if the final closing deal is not announced, how much they're going to pay minority shareholders, then you wait for a pullback, not going now, because I not even think that Honeywell is available right now. Let's see. Honeywell floor. 1850 at the moment, still available, but Usually when it shoots that high, it now finds a way to come back because a lot of people want to sell. Coach, please, is down sugar a good buy now? Let me see. Down sugar. Oh, down sugar is at 39.50. Wow, it even sold at 41.80. You see that? 39.50. I would have wished that you bought earlier when the market opened because it even dropped from 38, it put on Friday to 37 something before going all the way to 41. But now it's 39.50. My comfortable price has always been 36, 37, but I don't know if it will ever get down there. Anything can still happen with Dangote sugar until concrete information comes up. Abe says, Coach, what five stocks to buy? Which yield dividend either yearly or quarterly? Well, quarterly, you have only two stocks, Seplat and NID. Unfortunately, Seplat is too expensive. The dividend yield is too poor. So you go with NIDF, then buy Zenith, buy UBA. I don't want to go with GT just because it looks like the dividend yield may not be too fantastic at 60 something, almost 17 naira per share. You can spread that into stocks like I've mentioned about four already. Okay, so you can go with a stock like NASCOM or even NACO. Even though NACO is expensive, but 5 naira something is a lot. Sir, what are we buying in the US market this week? Also, is Exor a buy now, sir? Well, the moment you asked the question, the only stock that went to my mind was Exor. The question is it the right time? That's what I don't really know. But Exodus Movement Incorporated at $35 per share is quite cheap, and understandably so because it dropped from 50 something dollars to 35. That's because the first quarter result was not impressive. But the fundamentals are still solid, and I think it's usually the market's irrationality there for dipping that low. So that could be a good entry. I didn't take time to look at any other foreign stock as seriously as I did Exord. Then, of course, ACMR for the long term still good at the current price if you haven't got that. Electron Finance SPV infrastructure bond offer for 15 years. Coach, can you shed more light? I have not received the offer prospectus yet. Sadiq, maybe if I go through it, I'll be sure. Who is the issuing house? We need to know. Please, Coach, how do those abroad buy into the Sukuk bond? Very simple. Through your stockbroker, General Ray. Just email your stockbroker, tell them you are interested in investing in a Sukuk bond, and you proceed. Sometimes, we need to remind ourselves, while we are saying, 19.5% is too small, the fact is, there has been inflation for several years, and yet some people are still earning the same salary. How about that? Inflation is eating up all your salary, and yet there is no increase. A lot of times, almost annually, inflation hits, but maybe you get a pay raise after 3 years. Yeah, and then for interest yielding investments in the foreign markets, I was speaking to the Nigerians in diaspora Sweden, and I told them over in Sweden, I found out that the maximum interest rate for fixed income investment is 2.3% and below. Not even up to 2.5%, 2.3% in Sweden. So, what are you afraid of investing in such a bond and talking about devaluation and so on and so forth? Well, what you are running away from, foreign portfolio investors are putting money in. That's the bottom line. Okay, how much per share are you projecting the Honeywell buyout, Coach? Well, none of us knew that from the 4 naira 90 kobo and 5 naira we bought, it will rise above 10. Now we are thinking it may be 20 naira, but who knows? Coach, okay, I've done this. Beauty Fine Shop says it's mutual funds backed by NDIC like FBN Quest. It depends on the issuing house. Whatever NDIC coverage has given to FBN Quest is because of the banking license, commercial banking license that FBN already has. But let's also remember that NDIC insured deposit is just 5 million. Anything more than 5, if you have 100 million in a mutual fund, it's only 5 million that is insured. And you know what it takes to get paid by NDIC if a bank goes under. Can I tell you that most of those old banks that collapsed, they've still not been paid whatever it is. Meanwhile, imagine when those banks collapsed and now what the exchange rate is. So the 30,000 of that time is far more than the 30,000 of now. Yet, some people have still not been paid their insured deposit. We need to be sure of all these details and know what we're doing. Please, what platform can one get the total bid and offers of stock, please? Well, I'm using my stockbrokers platform, Atlas Portfolios. I don't know where else you can get it, apart from Atlas, and you can ask your broker, whichever broker you are using. Maybe they have a way to also get you to get that update. Okay. Honey floor is still showing in my portfolio, coach. It's still showing what? It should be there. Have you sold? And it's still showing. Oba Firm says, what's your opinion about credit card in Nigeria? Well, that's dead on arrival. The Nigerian credit system is not as transparent as you have it abroad. And of course, even users can be trusted in Nigeria as they are abroad. Something happened in Japan. A toll gate malfunctioned in Japan, and there was heavy traffic. Since the toll was malfunctioning, they could not receive payment. You know, you are passing through a toll gate, you have to pay something to pass. But when that malfunction happened and traffic was building up, the authorities decided to let the vehicles go until they sort out their machines. And those vehicles had to leave and keep going. After the machine was sorted out, 24,000 people paid the toll that they couldn't pay that time. Sincerity of a society. Do you have that in Nigeria? So, credit card in Nigeria, dead on arrival, because people will carry the credit card. Of course, that's why we don't have credit card in Nigeria. What we have is debit. Though, if you want to establish a credit card business, then you have to have a strict focus on a particular cadre of users of your card. Those you know that are engaged with a company, and then you will have to have a pact that whenever that person is eased off their job, you must be notified so that you can liquidate whatever it is beforehand. Still, the general trust rating of the Nigerian society is not a place to set up a credit card business. Because credit card is basically, you are using card with money you don't have to repay when you get money. The question is, will you be sincere enough to allow money keep coming into that card as you are owing? or as the average sense man, you will not divert money you should be receiving. You just write to your company, please pay my salary to OPay. Put it in OPay, please. It's all of that. So just forget about what is not working in Nigeria. Don't even try it so that you don't go bankrupt. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just 5 minutes. We had quality time here. It's really interesting, but public and civil servants can be tracked. Well, I have worked. One of my first assignments in the bank when I joined First Bank was credit risk management. We're the ones developing and onboarding customers who needed to take loan. Most of them civil servants. We check what their salary is, and their loan application should not be more than, I think, 60 to 80% of their salaries. But you see them applying for what is bigger than them, and you are trying to save them the heartache of paying off everything, because the excitement is in, wow, I'm going to get a lot of money. They forget to now reason that they will need to manage their lives through the 1 year period of the loan facility they are asking for. So they don't even think the monthly salary they are used to is going to now be cut short. There's going to be a fraction of that will be coming to them based on the loan they took. They see it as money has arrived, money don't come. So you have to really, really, really be careful. Public and civil servants can be tracked, but they are close to the accounts department. They can tell you, my First Bank account get problem. The BVN something, they say I should come and do this. So please channel my next salary from next month, channel it to Money Point or Palm Pay. That's where the problem starts. So you can't really trust the process or the system that much. That is compared to what is obtainable abroad, where they use these things efficiently. If you break traffic rule abroad, nobody will talk to you. They will track you down to where you're going and place your fine on you. In the UK, if you buy a TV set, you need license to use it. Now, at the point of buying the TV set, you can decide not to disclose to the government that you bought a TV set. That's your problem. But the seller, the merchant who sells those TVs, who sold you that TV set, has already taken your details and sent to the FIRS equivalent. So before you report yourself, you have already been reported by the seller, because they are under obligation to update the necessary authorities what's going on, so they can bill you for whatever is due. So it's not a case of you not being sincere and dodging. You can't dodge. So there are so many ways that society can really affect what works and what doesn't. Unfortunately, it materializes, but there's also some kind of heavy debt here and there that the company needs to deal with. The same thing, similar case with a stock like Ella Lakes. Any investment in Ella Lakes is based on hope that in the next 2-3 years, things will materialize. Well, if you invest that way, you're going to be shocked seriously, because every time the market crashes, those tiny hope stocks will collapse the worst. And then should anything go wrong with the investment, then that's the end of the story. So you want to first make sure that majority of your portfolio is tied to stocks that have proven themselves. It's your money, you call the shots, so you decide what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 2 p.m. Nigerian time. It's almost like I should just keep talking and going on, but we have to come to an end of today's session. I want to appreciate Maobi, who has offered himself. And even though the network continues to throw him out, he has been very active on the comment section, trying to help to respond to most of your questions. If you are not following me, you are losing money. And if you have started following me, get set. The You will end the year well because we keep sharing investment opportunities that you can participate in for your wealth creation journey. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you. We are making money this year. Honestly speaking, Danny Sunshine, I can assure you. I told you that, and it's already happening. 2025. I said it December. Then when January started, I said it again that we are making money this year. And of course, we've seen it happen suddenly. 1-for-1 bonus African Prudential, suddenly 5-for-1 bonus VFD. Suddenly, we are seeing beta class jumping from 50 naira to what do we have? 230 something naira. Suddenly, we are seeing before our very eyes Northern Nigerian flour mills 40 something naira to what do we have? 131 naira. Listen, this year, we are not halfway done yet. We are only in the 5th month. Next month will make us halfway into 2025. Imagine what is left for us to make this year. This is where I call it a day for everybody. I'm so sorry if I wasn't able to reach you or respond to your questions. Tomorrow again, we meet 12 noon to 2 p.m. Nigerian time. Until then, permit me to take my leave because I need to go to the Nigerian market and see what I can do in the remaining 18 minutes before the market closes, and of course the remaining 28 minutes before the US market opens. But for now, just know that I love you all, and it is bye for now.